Qi effects on the nervous system. Cupping therapy stimulates the sensory nerves of the skin. Many people frequently ask the question, what is the true meaning of Qi? My understanding of Qi is the life itself. It is the invisible force behind all happenings, like air and wind, immaterial yet with substance. When I travel in a car, I often put my hand out of the window and feel the force of the wind, trying to hold it in my palm. It is so real, yet so immaterial and elusive. The energy of life, vital force, life force, energy, all are Western attempts to describe the meaning of Qi, but there is no Western equivalent. Often we hear comments such as, "Last week I was very ill and my energy level was so low that all I did was stay in bed. Today I feel better and more energetic and much stronger too." Movement and heat signify Qi. Movement of any kind requires Qi, and often this is manifested as heat. Lack of energy, on the other hand, is signified by cold. In the clinical situation too, when a patient complains of cold, a lack of energy often accompanies this symptom. This reminds me about an old Turkish custom that, when a chair is vacated, it must be allowed to cool down before someone else takes it. There is a genuine concern and fear of catching another person's unknown or hidden illness through their body warmth left on the chair. When treating a disease which is in the Qi level, according to the 4 levels of differentiation of syndromes, the external pathogen is still fighting at the skin level and the body's overall resistance is still good. Some of the clinical manifestations are a high fever, a cough with thin yellow phlegm, wheezing and thirst. Cupping treatment at this level is very effective. There are 2 major conditions associated with Qi: Qi deficiency and Qi stagnation. Qi deficiency symptoms are unexplained tiredness, gasping, speaking with a very low voice like an ant, poor appetite and an empty pulse. The clinical manifestations of Qi stagnation are moving pain, wandering pain, feeling of distension, breast or stomach, emotional conditions such as depression, mood disorders or irritability, and a wiry or tight pulse. Wei Qi is the protective defensive Qi that travels just under the skin. It forms the outermost defensive wall against all external pathogens, such as wind, cold, damp and heat. Wei Qi also regulates the opening and closing of the pores of the skin, and is therefore in control of perspiration. It warms and nourishes the skin, its source is blood and Qi, and it is governed by the lungs. Wei Qi, one type of Yang Qi, the result of the digestion and absorption of food by the spleen and stomach, having the functions of protecting the integument and musculature against external pathogen, adjusting sweat secretion and nourishing the skin portion. Failure of Wei Qi to protect the body against disease is a morbid state marked by spontaneous sweating and aversion to wind, caused by deficiency of the superficial Qi, lowering the ability of the body to resist diseases, leading to the invasion of exopathic factors. 3 clinical manifestations at this level include fever with little or no sweating, occipital headache, stiff neck, thirst, sore throat, cough and a feeling of chill. Treating conditions at this level with cupping therapy is highly effective. Cupping regulates the flow of Qi in blood. It helps to draw out and eliminate pathogenic factors such as wind, cold, damp and heat. Cupping also moves Qi in blood and opens the pores of the skin, thus precipitating the removal of pathogens through the skin itself. In my opinion, nothing moves Qi in blood faster than cupping. From the very start of its application, one can observe the blood moving in the direction of the cup. Where a patient's energy is deficient, this movement will be slow. If the energy is abundant, it will be much quicker. One can actually observe this process if glass cups are used. As discussed earlier, cupping is particularly effective when the external pathogen still resides in the superficial energetic area of the body. The defensive protective level, Wei Qi. Whatever the vessel used, the objective of the treatment remains the same, that it to remove the external pathogens from the body and restore the circulation of Qi, blood and the fluids, thus bringing health to the sick. Below is a rare Japanese account on the subject of cupping therapy, taken from a Japanese cupping set manual. The effect of this therapy can be classified into two categories. The general purification of blood, improvement of circulatory functions of blood and lymph, regulation and betterment of automatic nervous system, etc., and the local removal of pain, relaxation of stiff muscles, etc. The former effects, that is, effects upon the bodily tissues and organs, are as follows. 1. Effects upon the skin. According to one experiment on a 35-year-old male subject, fine hair on his back grew to thick hair of 1 to 1.5 centimeters long after about 140 applications of treatment by this method. This is because the direct physical stimuli on hair roots and the expansion of blood vessels of the skin, by means of the pull of low pressure, cause an increase in blood circulation, a rise of skin temperature, the promotion of metabolism within skin tissue, better functioning of sweat and sebaceous glands and of cutaneous respiration, and sufficient supply of nutrition to the tissues. This is because the direct physical stimuli on hair roots and the expansion of blood vessels of the skin, by means of the pull of low pressure, cause an increase in blood circulation, a rise of skin temperature, the promotion of metabolism within skin tissue, better functioning of sweat and sebaceous glands and of cutaneous respiration, and sufficient supply of nutrition to the tissues. The essential point of cupping therapy is not only to withdraw stagnant old blood within the skin but also to remove poisonous substances from the surface of the skin. This is why, when a doctor continues this therapy on a patient with his bare hands, they become yellowy. It accelerates secretion of salts and sebaceous matter and the excretion of water. Another important point is that it strengthens the renewing power of the skin and its resistance to various harmful conditions. 2. Effects upon muscles. The pull of low pressure cupping therapy, the functioning of blood vessels within the muscles is activated in response to the stimulation of the subcutaneous capillary vessels. Thus the expansion of the blood vessels in the muscles facilitates the flow of blood and has a remarkable effect on a stiff shoulder. For example, removing congested blood. Moreover, this facilitates the flow of lymph. After the cupping therapy, the skin will be all aglow as a result of the rise in skin temperature and muscles by the increase of the blood flow. 3. Effects upon joints. Chronic joint rheumatism is one of the conditions for which cupping therapy is effective. In this case, the treatment is concentrated on the area of the joints concerned. When the condition is mild, an almost complete cure is possible, and this results from the better flow of blood within the joint, the activity and secretion of synovial fluids. In case of muscular spasms around the joints, they can be removed. Effects upon the digestive organs. Most patients feel hungry after the cupping therapy on the stomach region. As the digestive organs, especially spleen and stomach, looked upon as the engine of the human body, are regarded as the most important, and the treatment of the middle jiao is considered equally important. In other words, as the natural healing power of the body derives its energies mainly from the digestive organs, a great emphasis is laid on the treatment of the stomach, spleen and intestines. The pulling power of low pressure upon the belly stimulates the inside of the organs, their peristaltic movement and secretion of digestive fluids, and strengthens thereby the power of digestion and absorption of nourishment as well as the power of secretion. Therefore, this therapy has remarkable effects upon chronic gastroenteritis disorders and the constipation as a whole. These organs are affected favorably even during the back by way of the stimulation of the spinal nerves and the automatic nerves. Besides these, the therapy strengthens the muscles of the respiratory organs. General effects of cupping therapy. Purification of blood. Among the general effects, the most important is the effect upon the circulatory system. Owing to the pull of low pressure, the flow of blood in the arteries and veins increases, although in the case of the latter, localized spots of congested blood appear and then disappear. It is possible to ease the interruption of blood circulation and congestion and to stop the inflammatory extravasation, escaping of bodily fluids such as blood, from the tissues. Therefore, facilitation of the flow of blood is the most important characteristic of this therapy. It is very beneficial for hardened arteries, stiff shoulders, etc. Cupping therapy may influence the composition of blood. It increases red and white blood cells and changes acid blood into alkaline or neutral. This leads to the purification of blood. Effects on the nervous system. Cupping therapy stimulates the sensory nerves of the skin. Treatment on the back is mainly directed to the central line, spinal nerves and parasympathetic nerves, and the sympathetic nerves beside it. The stimulation of these has, it can be said, a good influence not only on the autonomic nervous system itself but also on various organs under its control. Cupping therapy is, like massage, effective against the so-called syndrome of general malaise, such as chronic headaches, dizziness, languor, stiff shoulders, fatigue, etc. These are said to derive from anxiety, worry and bodily pain. It is also effective against endogenous chronic diseases such as high blood pressure, neuralgia and rheumatism. During treatment with this therapy on the back or the loins, for example, some middle-aged or elderly patients fall asleep, snoring loudly. This clearly shows one of the effects upon the nervous system. The mechanism of its effectiveness will be clarified someday. Thus the general and localized effects of this therapy strengthen the healing power against diseases and, together with a healthy diet and psychotherapy, cure or prevent disease completely. Cupping therapy is suitable for the treatment of pains, by syndromes, diseases of the digestive, circulatory and respiratory systems, some skin conditions such as boils and eczema, windstroke, facial paralysis, weakness of the muscles, high blood pressure and common colds.